Welcome to the Fitness Business Podcast, brought to you by Active Management, the world's leading fitness business coaches who in 2015 will help you #grow your business. This is the world's #1 podcast for fitness business owners and managers. We interview real owners and learn what has been working for them to make them so successful. Here's the host of the Fitness Business Podcast, Chantal.
Hey guys, we're back for another week of fitness business banter. So, what have you been up to? I hope it's been a good week for you so far. I hope you guys caught last week's show with Brian O'Rourke. It was definitely one of my favorites. I hope you also had a chance to check out the Soul Cycle Oh Appy Day YouTube clip. It was very, very cool. If you happen to miss that one, it was show 16 and the links are all on the website, which you know by now is fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Now, before we kick into the show for today, I want to say a really big thank you to What's New in Fitness magazine because they featured the Fitness Business Podcast in their spring issue. So I was absolutely stoked with that. You guys, you know that our objective with the podcast is to help you grow your business. Personally, I want to get as many great guests as possible on the show so that they can share their experience and their information. So look, I hope you're really enjoying the content that we're sending your way each week. And I really mean it when I say that I appreciate that. You know, when you share the show, you know, and tell others in the industry all about the show, it means a lot to us and it helps us spread the word out there. So thanks once again to What's New in Fitness for the shout out and to all of you who have been downloading and sharing the show. Now, there are 3 things that I need to tell you about today's show. Number 1. Today's guest is the owner of a gym which forms part of a franchise that just recently in June 2015 was named the #1 top global franchise by Entrepreneur magazine. Number 2, I'm also going to be talking to a gym owner who is part of a Roundtable group that has helped him absolutely grow his business. And number 3, I have a completely amazing prize for our September giveaway. And this one I cannot keep a secret. We're going to be giving away an Ambit 3 Sport Black Heart Rate Monitor to one lucky listener. For some reason, they're not letting me enter the competition, which is bad news for me, but it is really good news for you. So I'm going to tell you more about that later in the show. Okay, so let me tell you about today's guest, Rhys Cutifani. Working in almost every role a fitness business has to offer, Rhys was General Manager of the Southern Cross Health Club when it was awarded the Australian Health and Fitness Facility of the Year by Fitness Australia in 2008. Now, over the last 6 years, Rhys and his wife Bridie have opened up 18 Anytime Fitness franchises and currently own and operate 7 Anytime Fitness clubs around Australia. They are awarded the Australian Franchisee of the Year in 2009 and 2010, and most recently won International Franchisee of the Year in 2013. Rhys's group of clubs' goal is to add 100,000 healthy life years by 2020 to their members' lives. Now, during the show, I asked Rhys about the main differences between a franchise club and an independent club. We talk about the importance of community involvement in business, and he shares his top key secrets for franchise club owners. One other thing about Rhys is he's been a member of the Industry Leaders Roundtable for over 6 years now, as has our second guest, Troy Morgan from Willow's Health Group. Now, if you've heard about roundtable groups but you're unsure of what's involved, then don't miss my chat with Troy because he gives us really great insights into his experiences with a roundtable group, the meetings, the tasks, the accountability, and the key relationships that he's been able to form with other members. That interview with Troy comes up straight after I chat with Rhys. Now, as for the Ambit 3 Sport Black Heart Rate Monitor giveaway, well, you're just going to have to wait until a little bit later in the show to hear about how you can go into the draw. But before we kick off my interview with Rhys, let me just give you a little bit of background about him. Rhys actually spent his first few years in the fitness industry working his way up the ranks in roles including cleaning, maintenance, cycle instructing, gym floor instruction, front of house admin, then to front office manager, then to general manager and partner, and that's all within that Southern Cross Health Club that I mentioned earlier. It's a large independent club, award-winning club with over 6,000 members. Now, it was after that time that he first came across Anytime Fitness, and that's where we're going to pick up our chat. When I asked Rhys, when were you first introduced to the Anytime Fitness franchise model?
I got the opportunity to get involved with Anytime Fitness through Jacinta and Justin McDonald. We'd known them through the industry, and when we heard that they were bringing Anytime Fitness into Australia, and we met with them, and they talked to us about it and told us what it was all about. The enthusiasm that they that they showed when they were talking about the model, and they'd spent a lot of time researching it, and it just, we were hooked straight away. So, we're glad we did, because obviously it was the right decision. There's over 400 clubs in Australia now, and obviously over 2,500 all around the world. So over the last 6 years, we then opened 18 Anytime Fitness clubs around Australia, of which we sort of sold a few, bought a few, that sort of thing, and we now currently run 7 Anytime Fitnesses around Australia.
Wow, it's interesting you say that, because just a couple of weeks ago, JT was talking about, he was over in the States and had met with some Anytime multi-club owners, and he mentioned that's quite a common thing. I don't know if it's specific to Anytime, but it's quite a common thing that the owners own multiple clubs. Why do you think that is?
Look, I think there has been a conscious effort on the part of head office to try and promote multiple franchisees, because I think they know that if they found franchisees that they want to keep in the system, there's only a limited number of how many clubs can actually put, obviously, into a country or into Australia, and it's going to be obviously much better for them if they've got quality franchisees running multiple clubs rather than having, say, for example, 400 franchisees running individual clubs. There's a much higher likelihood that you're going to, have some people that maybe haven't made the right decision for themselves in getting involved with a franchise or running their own business. So, yeah, I guess, and also the way the model is run and set up, you can run multiple clubs if you've got your system set up effectively and structured right.
Okay, so why don't we talk about that a little bit more, because you mentioned that you have been involved obviously with an independent club originally and now obviously with a franchise. So what would you say from an owner's point of view are the main differences between, say, a franchise and an independent club?
I think there's obviously positives and advantages and disadvantages to both. For me, I guess, probably the big ones, and the big difference coming from an independent health club where, you're kind of just making the decisions yourself and learning from experience, and the only, I guess, network that you really have in the industry is the network you've made and the people you've met who have shared experiences or have similar quantity to like other independent clubs. And at the time I was really lucky because I've been involved with JT since my early time in the industry, and I got the opportunity to be on one of his roundtables at the very early days. So I did have access to a network of other club operators that I know most people don't get access to. So, but coming into Anytime, for me, the difference, the volume of people and club owners that are in there, there's an instant network of people that are experiencing pretty much exactly the same issues as you or exactly the same successes. So you can relate to them, they can relate to you. If you're struggling with something, you can talk to other people that kind of, they just get it, rather than when you're talking to people who are in their own independent clubs, there's always similar issues, but it's never exactly the same. I guess the fact that your policies, procedures are set and are constantly updated as well within a franchise. They've got people who obviously do those for you, so that makes life a lot easier rather than having to come up with it all yourself. I guess one of the things with a franchise, you are limited with your creative freedom, I guess, and able to try things and experiment. You can obviously, you've got a lot more freedom when you're making the calls on an independent club. You don't have 400 other clubs that you are representing as well with stuff that you do. Another great thing with the franchise is that head office for us, especially with Anytime, do a lot of the work in terms of the emerging trends and helping us stay at the forefront of of what the consumer wants, which again makes it a lot easier. They've got people who are dedicated to doing that rather than us trying to fit it in with something that we like. And again, with an independent club, I found it was very easy to get caught up in trying to introduce things that you really loved and you really liked, whereas with any time I've found it's, although I don't always agree with the things they bring in the long run, because of the belief we have in the model, and that's why we came on board, because of some of the things I've obviously just mentioned, that most of the time I turn around and go, that was a good call by head office to bring that in, and it worked out successful. So
that's a really
probably
good.
the big ones.
Yeah, that's a really good comparison. It gives us a really good idea of the pros and cons in both. Let's talk a little bit about community, because I know you mentioned earlier that community is an important part of your business. So do you want to give us a bit of an idea, like how important is that involvement to your business?
Look, for us, community involvement it's probably the key to our business. I mean, at the end of the day, our local community they're our future members. And obviously some of them are past members, but we view them again as future members also. So I think if for us, we've made the conscious decision that we have to be part of our community, and that's crucial for us to be successful and to be here for the long term, which is what we're all about. I definitely, we've taken the time as part of our yearly planning, sort of focus on who are our key stakeholders of our business, and local community was one of our 5 key stakeholders that we've identified and that we focus on. So we have a clear understanding or role that we try and play within our community, and so that is to try and educate, facilitate, and inspire positive change.
Rhys, trying to give us maybe a few examples of perhaps the type of activities. I mean, when you say community involvement, does that mean that you are reaching out to them from the business, or does it mean that you actively go and do various activities out in the community as well? Do you want to give us a couple of examples?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, but primarily we are involved in as many community events as we can get into. So we have a couple of structured processes that we follow. So we've designed something that we call the Healthy Life Project, which was a free 6-week program originally for people, educating, as I said, inspiring and facilitating people to make positive changes. So it was about getting people into the clubs. They had a free 6-week membership at the gym with personal training, and they had access to a nutritionist, a physiotherapist for initial screening, and also a counsellor as well to help make sure that the changes they were making could be consolidated for the long term. So we were really targeting at-risk people for that. And if people get a referral from their doctor, then the whole program was free. So that's one of the things that we sort of utilised from the club specifically, and then getting out in the community. So we have what we call our Community Partners program, which is one where we align with sporting teams or athletics clubs or schools, whatever it may be. And we've set up our own little coffee van. So what we do is we actually take that, we take that out to young or juniors training, make coffees for the parents for a gold coin donation, and all the money goes to the sporting club. We do it for schools and any type of events that are in the community. So there's major sources of Mother's Day fun run here in Wollongong, and so what we do there is, again, we take the coffee machine out, gold coin donations for a coffee, and it all goes straight to the charity for the day as well.
I love that idea, Rhys. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's something different. It means that, we're not just standing there trying to hand out flyers or anything like that.
Yeah.
People really come and they interact and they engage. And what we found with that is that the more people that see us, the more events we go to, the more people actually are coming to us now and asking for us to bring the coffee machine out there and to be at these events as well. So it's just really helped us get that leverage and get the flywheel moving. And
when you're at those events, Rhys, what sort of branding do you wear the company T-shirts? Do you have any flags? What type of branding do you have at those events?
Yeah. Well, so our coffee van's all fully branded, obviously. We've got a big tent that we utilise that's branded, and all the staff wear their uniforms. And then we've got flags, and we sort of go the whole kit and caboodle, get out there and just get amongst it. So that's been really, really beneficial for us, that one.
That's great. It goes to show that not every time that you step out the door does it need to be a hard sales opportunity. Sometimes it's more important to interact with the community, to, I guess, slowly build that trust and that relationship with people so that then your brand becomes well known in the area.
Yeah, that's right. And look, the benefit of and this is just one example, but with the coffee machine, what takes a minute or two for someone to get a coffee. So they stand there and have a chat to you, and quite often the topic comes around of the club pretty quickly, and they've got friends that are at their club, or they'll be thinking about coming and trying it out. So it's a natural conversation, and the conversation then progresses to obviously, like you say, we're not trying to do a hard sell, but it is quite easy to get people thinking about coming into the club. And even if they don't do it then, the goal for us is that when they do have that moment of inspiration, a pair of jeans don't fit, or their doctor tells them that they're at risk of diabetes or whatever it may be, or something, a family member gets crook, then we are at the forefront of their mind, but kind of already got that little bit of engagement with us, so that they come down. And we've had a lot of people come and say, I saw you at the fun run, or I saw you at my daughter's school, and that sort of thing.
They're great examples, and I think just it reinforces the fact that for any of our listeners that are out there that do have those community-based businesses, no matter how big or small, these type of events and interacting with people in your local area is instrumental as part of your overall strategy and planning to really make an impact. So they're great examples, Rhys. Thank you. So let's move on to your top tips to success for a franchise club owner.
Yep. Okay, well, look, I think the big one, especially for us from a franchise owner's perspective, would be know why and remember why you got involved with the brand that you chose, and stick with the model. If you've done your research, it's a proven model, it's going to work, and you're confident in the brand, then stick with it. And if you don't believe in it anymore, or you come to the point where it's not, maybe it's not using, then get it out. Don't go trying to change the model and do your own thing and become a bit of a rogue operator, I guess, because everyone should be in it together with a franchise. Everyone needs to be that consistency with the message for not only your members, but you want your members, if they're going and training at another club. For us, for example, we want to know that they're going to get the same experience that they get when they come to our club, and vice versa. When we have members from other clubs come and train in our club, we want to make sure that they're getting that great experience and it's consistent. So I guess, know why you chose the model and try and remember that, and stick to the brand, have faith in it. The other one would be, like I mentioned and touched on a bit earlier, is really utilise the network. I mean, becoming part of a franchise, I think the most powerful part of it is, the network that you have instant access to. So you've straight away got a group of like-minded people there, quite likely going to be having, again, the same issues as you, or the same struggles or the same successes. So talk to people, reach out and connect with, your other franchisees, and stay on top of who does well and who does well in specific areas of the business, that you can, learn from them and use them as motivation to try and be better. Like, use them as, set your goals to try and be as good as those people who are doing very well in specific areas. I mean, I know specific franchisees with any type that are fantastic with their retention practices and the involvement, and other guys who constantly get fantastic lead generation results and new member results and that sort of thing. So I guess, just identify and seek out the people that are doing well in specific areas that you may not be doing as well in, and make it your goal to understand why they're so good at it, and I guess adjust what you do and incorporate what they do into what you do to try and make it better.
There's some really great information in there, especially for people that are either already within franchise businesses or considering moving into a franchise model. And great to hear about your experience having, I guess, essentially come through the ranks and experienced what it's like to be part of an independent club and now as a franchise. So thank you so much for your time today, Rhys, and for sharing your insights.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
The Fitness Business Podcast is very appreciative of our podcast partners. Here's a quick word from one of our partners.
So Troy Morgan is the co-owner of Willow's Health and Lifestyle Centre based in Toowoomba in Queensland, Australia. Welcome to the show, Troy.
Thank you very much, Chantal. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Now, first of all, do you want to just give us an idea? How long have you been a Roundtable member?
Around about 3.5 years now. My first Roundtable was in Adelaide.
In Adelaide. And you get to do a bit of travel with the Roundtable, don't you?
You do get to do a little bit of travel with the Roundtable, which I find a great part of it. So you actually get away from your business when you do go to the Roundtable meeting.
Yeah, it's a great part of it, checking out other people's businesses and locations as well. So, look, tell us, what did your business look like before you were a member of Roundtable?
Yeah, so we have a traditional fitness centre business, but we also have allied health suites within the complex itself. So I was happy with how we were travelling, but we're very big on the Simon Sinek Find Your Why. And part of that concept is you'll often attract similar people to your business. So you tend then to have the same eye set overlooking your business all the time. And what attracted me to the Roundtable is being able to have external people look at what you're doing and give feedback and challenge you on what you believe to be true and challenge you on what your perspectives are, which really drives you to be better, I believe.
So, Troy, tell me this. Why was it, what sort of initially motivated you to select a Roundtable as a solution for your business?
Yeah, it can be really lonely as an independent business owner that you don't get the same support as you do, say, within a big franchise model or one of the larger box models. And all the business coaches, et cetera, talk about accessing knowledge outside of your business. And this, for me, was like being able to set up an external board, I guess. It is really like having an external board that you get to report to and also get to put in front of them what your future plans are and be held accountable to them.
Yeah, I love that word accountability. That's a big part of the Roundtable. So tell me, maybe touch on what are some of the benefits that you've seen? You've already briefly mentioned a couple of them, but what are some of the benefits that you've seen for your business?
Yeah, definitely that accountability, number one, but then also having those outside eyes to look over your marketing, but also look over your balance sheet, look over your profit and loss, and really make you look at where trends are going. So if you are showing a downward trend with regards to sales conversions or with regards to your EBITDA, etc., then you really have accountable about to what solutions you're going to put in place and what strategies you are going to deliver. And those strategies can't be flimsy because the Roundtable team, I really do call it a team, do hold you accountable to those strategies and timelines around that. So there is a lot of connection between the Roundtable members between quarterly meetings, and it really is like having another arm to your team that you can call on. And everyone within the Roundtable has different strengths and weaknesses. So you tend to go to those strengths if you're having a particular issue, if it is around marketing, if it's around human resource management, if it's around your profit and loss. There's different strengths to every person that's on the Roundtable, and it really becomes a great team that can help you become better.
Troy, you mentioned numbers, you mentioned profit and loss, that type of thing. Can you give us any more specific examples of the type, when you get together with those other Roundtable team members, what are some of the KPIs or the numbers that you are inputting or that you're contributing to those meetings?
Yeah, so monthly we input all of our own businesses' numbers. So we're looking at membership numbers gained or lost during each month, looking at sales conversions, looking at tours, looking at member usage, looking at our profit, looking at all of the things that go into making up your business, where you can tend to float at different times, but having to input that data to your Roundtable team every month allows you to compare how you're going against similar businesses, but also really makes you sit down and look at that. And with our team, each of our leadership team is responsible for inputting that data into the different section of the Roundtable spreadsheet. So the team really becomes a part of it as well. And they really want to get those reports in so that the Roundtable, they know where they're at as compared to the Roundtable. So I do share the data with my staff. This takes it to a whole nother level where it's peer-to-peer coaching with JT, Justin, as the facilitator, who keeps us all on track and Also, that outside facilitation is he allows us to keep up to date with overseas trends, etc. So it's just another resource to your business that I guess the best way to put it is collates data and trends for you that you then don't have to put extra time into.
Now, how long sort of did it take for you to start to see the benefits? Was it immediate or did it take a while of putting in that data and contributing to the group?
Yeah, I found immediate benefits, and I found the Roundtable challenge me right from the start. We were quite successful in our growth, etc., but the challenge around it was, well, what happens when that growth slows down? We were only 2.5, 3 years into our journey of converting an old squash and fitness centre. So with any excitement around a new business, then you do have that growth initially. So what the table challenged me on is, well, what's the strategy to keep things going? And that from the very first meeting, that was a challenge around it. So it made me go away and really think about what my strategic growths were, what my exit strategies were down the track, just really challenged my beliefs around how I was going to take my business forward in the future. Then from there, having put those strategies in place, being able to continue the growth that we had experienced, which I don't think would have happened as well without having that outside eyes on what we were doing.
I think you've covered a lot of ground there, Troy. Were there any, would you identify that there are any kind of major challenges that you've faced since being a part of the Roundtable?
Definitely. Marketing, we don't do any advertising as a business. We rely very heavily on referral-based marketing, word of mouth, etc. So I was really challenged by the group and by Justin on what other things we could do to continue to that to happen, but also then stay true to what my why of business was. So looking at how we better connected through our social media platforms and what those platforms look like. So being able to put posts out is one thing, but being able to put the data to your Roundtable team before you put it out and say, what do you think of this poster? What do you think of this campaign? And having really honest feedback on it. So I've always been challenged by the table on what I can do better with marketing, because I tend to take our referral base for granted, I guess, at times. Mm-hmm. So that's always been a big challenge. And the tracking of numbers, massive challenge. My background's in exercise science, so I'm still very much around the programs, etc., and everything else will take care of itself. Well, the Roundtable doesn't let me do that.
I don't think you're alone there, Troy. I think it's fair to say that most fitness industry professionals tend to lean towards the programming and exercise side. I mean, numbers aren't generally our favourite part of the business, so it's a great part of the Roundtable is that accountability for your numbers. So listen, let's finish up. How about you let us know, are there a couple of tips that you might have for any of our listeners that are currently thinking about joining a Roundtable?
Yeah, I think it is a challenge. It is a challenge to take that time out of your business each quarter, and I'll be honest about that. 2 to 3 days out of your business each quarter is a challenge, and you may feel as though you don't have time for that. But I say to myself, can my business afford not for me to have that time away from the business, so that we really look and spend time at least once a quarter really working on the business rather than getting stuck in the middle of it and not really seeing what's coming. So it is a challenge to put that side of time, but I think it's a challenge that's well worth overcoming. And I think we all need to, whether that's in roundtables or whether that's in other formats, finding that time to work on our business, because there's so many challenges within the industry at the moment.
Thank you so much for your insights today, Troy. It is great to hear exactly what it's like to be part of a Roundtable group. And we will put the Rex Roundtable contact details in today's show notes. Thanks for joining us, Troy.
No problems. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, guys, you've waited long enough. As promised, we have another giveaway this month, and it is thanks to Sunto, Precor, and Ama Sports, and it is awesome. Let me tell you a little bit about this incredible prize. The desire to be faster is universal. Whether you're pushing your limits on the trail, on your bike, or in the water, the Sunto Ambit 3 Sports GPS watch is your invaluable multi-sport tool to become the best that you can be. Track your running performance and analyze sleep recovery. Use the Sunto Moves Count app to plan your workouts and get voice guidance during your exercise. With the app, you can adjust the watch on the go and relive and share your experience. Now, you can win the Ambit 3 Sport Black Heart Rate Monitor by just going to today's show notes and in the comments section, tell us why you love the Fitness Business Podcast. How easy is that? Now, the website, you know it, is www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Jump on right now and enter. I want to say a very special thank you to Paul Kelly in Australia for Sunto, Precor and Amma Sports, who has donated the Ambit 3 Sport Black Heart Rate Monitor. Thank you so much.
It's time for the Fitness Business Podcast wrap.
Okay, before we sign off for today, here are a few of the great takeaways from today's interview with Rhys Cutifani. Rhys talked about franchise ownership. It opens you up to an instant network of people who are in the same situation so you can share and learn from others. He spoke a lot about community engagement and said that community engagement should form part of your key strategy for a franchise business. He reminded us that people care about local projects and giving back to those in their community is what they love. Now, if you choose to own a franchise, he reminded us to stick with the model. Don't try and change it. People need to have a consistent experience. And last but not least, utilize the network of your franchise. Talk, share, connect with others in that network. They are going through exactly the same thing as you are. As per usual, before I say goodbye, don't forget to jump on and rate the Fitness Business Podcast on iTunes. Go to iTunes, search for the Fitness Business Podcast under the title Ratings and Reviews. Click there and give us a star rating and write a comment. If you've got any suggestions, comments or feedback about the show, you can always get me at chantal@activemgmt.com.au. Or if you've got a question about owning or managing a fitness business, send it on through and we might be able to feature it in an upcoming show. Don't forget, you can find all of our previous episodes and show notes on the website, which is fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Until next week, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.
You have been listening to the world's #1 podcast called the Fitness Business Podcast, brought to you by Active Management. We are dedicated to helping your fitness business #grow in 2015. Check out www.activemgmt.com.au for resources, tools, and more to help you. And by far, the best value for you is to become a member. So join today at www.activemgmt.com.au.